Hello, welcome to the channel and welcome to Forza Horizon 4 for something slightly different. A lot of people don't like winter, and that's understandable. Some of you are just bad drivers, but a lot of people have a valid reason, and one of the reasons that comes up a lot is drifting. It gets slightly ruined in winter. A lot of drift spots are just left completely useless, especially for lower powered cars and tandems. So I'm making this video to show off my top 5 drifting spots to use in winter. And a lot of them I actually use all the time, actually. I think I use all of them all the time. But these are all drifting spots that aren't completely covered in snow. And before we start this, just in case you are unaware, roads that aren't covered in snow in winter, it is the exact same as just drifting in the rain in any other season. So, say the road is just wet and it's snowing, that's the same as drifting in the rain. That's all it is. Now the first location is one of my favourite drift spots in the whole game, for every season, and that is the Sbend drift zone. Going all the way down the road, through the ambleside approach speed zone and to the bottom of that road. None of this is covered in snow until you reach the very bottom of the speed zone. So this entire section going all the way up to the festival if you want, is dry. Obviously by dry I mean not covered in snow. It's just wet. And again, that is the same as just drifting in the rain in any other season, which is fine. It's easy to do. This is a great place to tandem, and it's a good place for higher speed drift cars, which is why it's one of my favourite drift zones, because you can use pretty much any drift car you want here. Reverse drifting, you can do it here. Fast drifting, you can do it. Slow drifting, tandems, all of that, easy to do at this drift zone with pretty much any vehicle. Also, one of the best places to test tunes. Highly recommend this drift zone, drift area. The only problem with it is it isn't a loop. So you go all the way down and then you have to go all the way up the same route. So if you're doing this in a convoy, you have to wait for everyone to come down and then you all go up together. That is my only complaint with this speed zone. As I'm sure we're all aware, one of the best drift places in this game is crates, over at the rail yard. Unfortunately, for tandems, unless you're really good at the game, it becomes almost impossible during winter, because that whole area gets covered in not only snow, but also ice. It is a miserable experience in winter, which sucks, because that's a whole week in which you pretty much can't drift at crates. However, the warehouse next to crates, great place to drift, especially in the winter when you can't drift at crates. Obviously it's inside, so it's all dry. It's a great place for tandems. It's not very good for high powered cars, it's slightly too technical, and it's got an upper floor. If you want to use the upper floor, you can easily incorporate it into your own route going around the warehouse. It is a great place to drift. The only problem with it is there is a lot of destructible stuff in the way. If you're drifting, you're probably not going to be going fast enough to break these, and they're just going to bring you to a dead stop. So if you're going to drift here, I highly recommend switching into a truck first and knocking everything over. By the time you've done that and switch back to your drift car, all of the stuff you've knocked over would have despawned, and you have got a completely open area to do all of your tandems and whatnot. Also, sometimes, just, fun little fact, there's a bug when you're inside the warehouse in winter, everything outside turns green, like winter disappears, and then you go outside and it all fades back in. Really weird bug. It's fun though. Edinburgh. This is a easy one. The whole city is dry. Obviously by dry I mean not covered in snow. Not only is it all dry, but it's just a genuinely good place to drift. All seasons. Specifically this little area here, where there are 2 roundabouts side by side, actually 3, and like a half roundabout. It's easy to make routes going around here, make your own routes with friends. Great place for tandems. If you go over into the more square areas of the city, there are some great places for high powered cars. Even just this roundabout's good for high powered cars. It's a great place to drift, easy to do tandems. Not very good for reverse drifting. I will put that in there. Too straight for that. Very hard. But all other kinds of drifting, absolutely fantastic location. Especially in winter, when a lot of people's favourite drift zones are just null and void and useless. Ambleside, down by the back lane drift zone and the house, the Sunflower Meadows house. This is a very nice place to drift. Now, it is a very small area, so it might get a bit repetitive. It is also, from my experience, not very good for tandems. Just the general layout of the area makes it rather hard. It straightens out weirdly. It's difficult to tandem, but it is possible. It is also not a good place for high-powered cars. But if you've got a low-powered car, you just want to test, or you want to try and tandem, it's very easy to make your own little circuit going around here. You don't even have to use the drift zone. You can just use the housing bit. It's all dry, as long as you stay within Ambleside. So it's a great place. And there's not many players around this area of the game ever. So that's quiet, which is nice. And finally, Bambra, the coastal road, just outside of Bambra Castle. I'm including this because this is a good place for high-powered cars, like very high-powered low-grip cars. And it's a good place to practice stuff like 360s and 360 entries. Because where the Crescent speed zone is, you can make a loop using that road connecting to the coastal road. So you've got that long straight where you can pick up all your speed and then pull off some awesome entries into the speed zone. It's a great place. It's where I take all of my high-powered cars. Not a good place for tandems at all. It's too straight. Unless you're very good at very fast tandems. Don't recommend it for tandems at all. I don't recommend it for low-powered cars either. Great for... Not good for reverse drifting either. Miserable. But high-powered, low-grip, great. And in the video you're seeing, I'm using a high-powered, high-grip car and it's not working at all. Because... well, I don't know, why did I think that was going to work? I'm an idiot, that's why. Well, those were my top 5 favourite places to drift in winter. If you've got any more, please put them in the comments. I would like to hear them. And I'm also going to add on, there is of course the DLC Islands. Now, as far as I know, there is no snow on any of the paved roads on either of the DLC Islands. If there is, I can't remember it. But I can tell you for a fact, the Needle Climb is completely fine for drifting in winter. Same for like the entirety of the Lego map except for the desert. So, if you've got those DLCs, I highly recommend just going over there for winter, to be honest. Because you've got pretty much the whole map as usual, unaffected. Because it's, again, it is just the same as drifting in the rain. It's the exact same grip levels. If you think it's worse, you're imagining it. But yeah, that will be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.